Welcome. Yeah, why can't I never get this shit right, dude? Like it looks great right before I go live. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. I think it's my lighting too. My lighting is awful. Hold on. Is that better? Not really. That looks like shit. All right. Whatever. Anyway, I think that's the best I'm gonna get it. Got some friends up in the house. How we doing, everybody? It's good to see you. It's fantastic to see everybody. Oh my goodness. And my new friend is in chat. My new friend. Let me give a shout out to my new friend, EKC People Suck. Good stuff. Check out her channel. Mods, please drop a link to her channel. Make sure everybody subscribe to her because she's fun. She's super fun. Yeah. So, I mean, look. Yes, we are going to get into the Clyde Daniels situation. It is a case that definitely needs attention, and it's going to go to trial. And you better believe we're gonna go over that trial. Save Robbie's in the house, of course. That girl, Lufa. If I don't say your name, I'm sorry. I already got a lot of people in here, and I want to keep this moving as fast as possible. A thin line between love and homicide. Hello, Road King 01, Rosaleng, Lindy S. Hi, Rockabilly Daisy. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be a dick. I just, dude, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I gotta warm up to this a little bit. You're welcome in my chat, but that's that's where we're at right now. We got a lot of history, man. You know what I mean? I'm not. But speaking of which, I mean, come on, look. You know, these hags, man, they just won't stop squawking and squawking. Look, I'm going to do something that I've never done before today, guys. Okay. It's not exactly a dox. Okay. It's not exactly a dox. Okay. It's something I never done. And I'm not sure how proud I am of it. Okay. But I located Queen Bee. There, I said it. Now, I don't know. I don't know what her name is. I don't know anything about that, but I did find out where she shops because somebody sent me some footage of her in line where she shops. I'm going to go ahead and play that because I think as a community, we have a right to know. Okay.
Eternity, motherfucker. Really? I'm just trying to help you.
I'm sorry, but I don't need your help.
Yes, you do, motherfucker. To help you.
I'm sorry, but I don't need your help.
Yes, you do, motherfucker. You do need my help, sir. Can't you see that? I'm just trying to help you. Eternity, motherfucker. Really? I'm just trying to help you. Eternity, motherfucker. Really? I'm just trying to help you.
I'm sorry, but I don't need your help.
Eternity, motherfucker.
Really?
I'm just trying to help you.
I'm sorry, but I don't need your help.
Yes, you do, motherfucker.
Look, just the messenger, okay? Not telling you her name, not telling you none of that shit, Okay, you're gonna have to get that dirty information somewhere else. Just saying. Just saying, I spotted her. That's all I'm saying. Okay. You know what she sounds like to me? Yeah, Queen Bee. Queen Bee's. Queen. You know how people say, like, when their feet hurt, my dogs are barking, right? You know that expression? My dogs are barking, right? My dogs are barking. You know, you know how people say that? Like, if I were to put a voice to, like, let's just say a Waffle House waitress's feet could talk, a hard working on her feet for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. If a if a Waffle House waitress's feet could talk out loud and express opinions, I hear Queen Bee's voice coming out of them feet. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? That's what I picture. That's just what I picture. That's just what I picture. It's not, I can't help it. I'm just saying that's what I picture. Okay? That's what I picture. Anyway, moving on, people. I was talking to a really good friend of mine. A lot of you guys know this really good friend of mine, okay? And I was talking to this really good friend of mine. And this really good friend of mine really came through, man. This really good friend of mine really came through because you know, this good friend of mine was the voice of, you know, comfort, as this good friend of mine usually is. I'm going to play you a little voice message. You guys know a couple days ago, I was going through a hard time. I was really upset and got a lot of support. Got a lot of support from a lot of good people. And that was really touching. But I'm going to play you a little something here from a really good friend. All right.
All right, fool. Well, I'm at work, so I will be popping in and out or probably lurking, listening. Don't let those fuckers get to you. You know, anytime and I'm not trying to be sexist, but I feel like a lot of time women see that men are doing good on YouTube, they just fucking go after them. I don't know if it's because they want our dicks and they can't have it, or God only knows, but maybe we should just start passing out our dick like candy, you know, cheer these people up a little bit. I really feel like that's a solution.
I'm gonna play it one more time. I'm gonna play this shit one more time. Hold on. I love Save Robbie, dude. Save Robbie, dude. Like, you're one of my favorite people on the planet.
All right, fool. Well, I'm not.
Hold on. That's my bad. It's my bad. Hold on. We're doing this again. Is it this one?
I'm at work, so I will be popping in and out or probably lurking, listening. But don't let those fuckers get to you. You know, anytime and I'm not trying to be sexist, but I feel like a lot of time women see that men are doing good on YouTube, they just fucking go after them. I don't know if it's because they want our dicks and they can't have dicks and they can't have it, or God only knows, but maybe we should just start passing out our dick like candy, you know, cheer these people up a little bit. I really feel like that's a solution.
I really feel like that's a solution. Oh, fucking Robbie, dude. You are too much, my man. I love you, dude. Dude, thank God for friends like Robbie. I swear to God. There's nobody like Robbie. There will never, ever be nobody like Robbie. Ever, ever, ever. Love the dude. I really feel like that's the solution. Sorry. Dude, I must have played that message like 30 times total so far. I can't with Robbie, dude. I fucking can't with that dude. So, guys, things are going to get a little serious. I thought we'd have a few laughs first. Forgive me for that, because things are going to get pretty serious regarding this case. You guys know how I feel about people doing fucked up shit to kids. And this little kid in particular. Now, before I get into this, I want to be clear with you guys about something. This is not normally when I do a crime case, it's because it's a case that grabbed my attention and I felt some overwhelming need to discuss it and talk about it. This is something a little different. Somebody actually, because people would send me cases all the time, and like honestly, 90% of the time, they're like somebody's personal experience. It's not really a true crime case so much. Like it's somebody, and then they called the cops on somebody, on their family, and it's like that's not exactly what I want to be doing with my channel, if I can help it. But somebody who is very, very valuable to this channel. And very, very valuable to the community. And simply just because they're an amazing person and what they contribute to the community. And this person sent me basically a request saying, have you thought about covering this case? And I hadn't really looked into it. And I hadn't still, I have not, because of all the craziness that's been going on. And my job, everything, I have not really had the time to look deeply into this case at all. And it wasn't until I got with that girl and she had to, she was busy setting up the PDF for the whole Bridget thing to expose that, and which was really important. And I didn't realize how important it was at the time, but it was extremely important. And I'm glad that we talked about it and went over it here. Now, as far as this case goes and what goes into this case is a couple of years old already. And a lot has gone on. So that girl, as she does, has basically put together a very detailed summary for me. And I was looking over it earlier today. And so a lot of what you're going to be getting, for those of you who are not familiar with this case, you're going to be getting my reaction to a lot of this stuff too. So this is just as fresh to me almost as it is to you. I had not been following this case. I've been busy with other cases and I've been busy with other bullshit too, which is my own fault. But we are going to explore this case together. And when it comes to trial, we are going to explore that trial together. So I'm really excited to go on this journey with you guys. And we're gonna start going over some of that stuff right now. Excuse me. So we've got Joseph Clyde Daniels III. He was born on July 30th, 2012, and he disappeared from his home on Garners Creek Road in Dixon, Tennessee on April 4th, 2018 at the age of 5. Joe was autistic and nonverbal. There is little to no evidence in this case, and he has still not been found to this day. His father, Joseph, is charged with homicide in this case, while his mother, Crystal, is charged with aggravated neglect. The trial for Father Joseph Daniels is now scheduled to start June 1st, 2021. Anyone with information is asked to call the Dixon County Sheriff's Office at 615-789-4130. That's 615-789-4130. Now, as we move forward in this, guys, I want you to know this Joseph Daniels, Joe Clyde's dad, this Joseph Daniels, and you've seen the picture of him. I'll show more stuff in a little bit here. This guy's, you're going to see there's more to him than what you're seeing. There's more to him than what he's accused of. There's this is actually, I'm going to venture to guess that this is going to be one of the most fascinating people that I've ever looked into, because it's real easy to underestimate this guy. Very, very, and I'll get into that a little bit later. I will get into that a little bit later, but this is this guy is different. And it's interesting to me because I'm finding myself becoming just as fascinated with him as I am Letitia Stock. So this is going to unfold and get pretty weird. So sorry about that. Oh, thank you, Dory. Appreciate that. That was a PayPal. Let me turn down my volume here real quick. And all right. Now, on April 3rd, 2018, Joe Clyde was last seen by Joseph Daniels, and he said that he saw his son when he put him to bed. He was wearing pajamas. Now, I was going to play the 911 call. I guess I will anyway. It's just I pinned the link to it here, which I'll go ahead and take down. But I pinned the link, and it's just really hard to understand what he's saying. That girl and I were kind of joking in text a little earlier because she was like, it made me wonder what kind of phone he has, you know? And I laughed because I was like, I thought the same thing. I was like, why does it sound so staticky? Very weird. Almost like he's still using a landline with a cord and the cord was messed up, but real bad. Very strange. So that was on April 3rd when Joe Clyde was last seen. On April 4th, 2018, Daniels called 911 saying his son was missing, and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation issued an endangered child alert for the 5-year-old. On April 5th, 2018, search crews, including authorities and hundreds of volunteers, spent hours searching multiple locations for the child. Authorities confirmed numerous tips came in concerning possible evidence or sightings of the boy, who is nonverbal and has an autism spectrum disorder. The father spoke to News Channel 5's Nick Berries and told him they were heartbroken. He added that they had given the child scent to the canine units from the child's clothing and pillow. The father also said authorities told him not to join the search because the scents could distract the canine units, which actually makes a lot of sense. But I'm guessing that they already suspected this guy. I'm going to go moving forward, and I think once you guys know, once you're up to speed on how much I'm up to speed, because again, this is still fresh. I've only looked over this information prior, but this is where I'm thinking about it, and I'm doing that with you guys. And I feel like in the experience of covering cases like this in the past, I think it's pretty safe to assume that law enforcement, there's definitely something called an intuition when it comes to law enforcement, a gut feeling that a seasoned law enforcement officer has. And I'm sure that had something to do with their decision. I think there's absolutely truth to that, that it might distract the scent from the canine units. But, and there's a number of reasons why they probably wouldn't want the father to go along, but I'm definitely going to go ahead and go out on a limb and think that one of those reasons is definitely because they had a gut feeling about him, and they just there something wasn't right. So it says here that a footprint was reportedly found that authorities hoped belonged to Joe. Canines picked up his scent leading into a pond near his home. The pond was drained, but nothing was found. The scent abruptly dropped off. Now that's crazy to me, because you've got a canine unit that is following a scent. Everybody is following these dogs and going, oh my God, they got something. And then it gets to a pond. And then they actually drain this thing empty. They drain this thing empty, and then poof, back to square one. I mean, I can't even imagine how that must have felt for this search party. I can't imagine how disappointing that must have been. It says here that nearby residents with cameras and hunters with cameras in the woods were asked to search their footage for clues, which is pretty much standard. You know, that's the same reason why they look at surveillance cameras. You know, anybody with a camera might have something, even if it's the smallest thing, and it would more than likely be something that you miss. So when you know, it seemed like everyone in this community was taking this search extremely seriously. You've got a 5-year-old kid with special needs, and I live in Tennessee. There is a certain sense of community in a state like this. It just is. You could kind of tell by their sports fan base. You know, you have everyone here is a diehard Tennessee college football fan, right? But it's a terrible team. They've been terrible for years, but everyone wears orange on Saturdays during football season. Everyone wears orange. So it's crazy to me. So this, when a community like this sees one of their own go missing, and it's a child with special needs, they're going to come together and they're going to take it very seriously, and they're going to do everything they can to find this child, or to at least get this child justice. On April 6th, 2018, still nothing. And excuse me 1 second. So there's still nothing. And it's to the point where they have to seek additional volunteers. They requested more people volunteer, and it's day 3 of the search, and they were expanding the search to a 3-mile radius at this point. Thank you. It just had a first initial and a last name, and I don't want to say that, but thank you for who sent that. On April 7th, 2018, the TBI officials held a press conference Saturday morning where they confirmed the child's father had been taken into custody and charged with criminal homicide in the boy's disappearance. So Joe Sr. is under arrest. So obviously now we've seen this before, but there's a difference. We've seen this before, and it wasn't this fast actually, but we've seen this before in the Gannon Stalk case where they arrest someone for murder, but they don't have a body. Now, the thing is, in the Letitia Stalk case, a body shows up pretty quickly. Letitia did not put much of an effort into disposing of Gannon's body once she went through a hell of a lot of effort, which I still find mind-blowing to me. Letitia Stalk drove 1,400 miles to Florida from Colorado to dispose of Gannon's body and just kind of tossed it off the side of the road. I mean, if I go that far, I'm at least digging a hole, I would think. If I were inclined enough to do crazy shit like that, I would think that I would at least dig a fucking hole. But anyway, now we don't have a body on Joe Clyde yet, but obviously experience tells us that law enforcement has enough evidence to believe that the child is dead, and that the father is responsible for it. Now, what turns out is that he confesses to it. And they're at this point looking for Joe Clyde's body. Joseph Ray Daniels, age 28, was being held in the Dixon County Jail on a $1 million bond. Officials with the Department of Children's Services confirmed they were investigating the family, along with authorities, and added the 5-year-old's 2 brothers, ages 3 and 8, had been placed with relatives. So CPS has already been, or DFACS, Department of Children's Services is what they call it there, or here in Tennessee, I should say. The Department of Children's Services has been investigating this family prior to this. Now, I've got a little bit of excuse me. I've got a little bit of the arrest affidavit, I believe, here. And that girl made sure to let me know that there's a trigger warning here, guys. So for those of you with delicate sensibilities, please listen at your own risk. So it says here, court documents reveal that the father of the 5-year-old boy presumed missing was beaten to death. According to the affidavit, Joseph Ray Daniels admitted he struck Joe Clyde Daniels repeatedly in the body, upper torso, head, and face with a closed fist until his son, on April 4th, was deceased at the residence on Garners Creek Road. The affidavit says that Daniels placed the body of his 5-year-old son in the trunk of his car and disposed of his body in a remote rural area. Joe Clyde Daniels was reported to the Dixon County Sheriff's Office as missing. His dad told deputies that Joe Clyde had left the home barefooted, dressed in his pajamas sometime between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. The elder Daniels admitted that he had killed his son during questioning on Friday, according to court documents. Now, before I continue, I want to explore this a little bit. I don't want to explore too much. We got the idea. He beat him to death. We don't need to get too deep into that. What I'm having trouble with is this story, right? I'm having a little bit of trouble with his dad saying that he left the home barefooted and dressed in pajamas in the middle of the night. Now, I don't know much about autistic kids. I don't know much about autism at all. To be perfectly honest. So I'm not going to presume to know what that is. But in theory, because I don't imagine that happens a whole lot, you know, even someone with special needs, I would think instincts kind of kick in. And if a child were to get up in the middle of the night, I would think, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, just saying, I would think that if a child barefooted in his pajamas, 5 years old, were to get up in the middle of the night and leave the house wandering, there's probably something wrong going on in that home. That the fact that Child Services was already investigating the home, and that happening on top of that, or at least that allegedly happening on top of that, is still some sort of red flag to me. Now, law enforcement obviously does not believe that this is the case and this is what happened. This was just his story when he called 911. So the elder Daniels admitted that he had killed his son during questioning on Friday, according to court documents. Okay, so what he's saying here is that he left the house, and then when he came back and questioned him, I think I'm reading that right. When he came back and questioned him is when he lost his temper and beat his son to death because the kid took off and had him worried. I don't know if I buy that. So I definitely don't know if I buy that. So April 8th, 2018, grandmother says they believe baby Joe is still alive. The search had continued for the 5-year-old's remains. Multiple vigils were held for Joe Clyde Daniels, with hundreds of people showing up to honor and remember him. The child's grandmother and stepmother of his accused killer spoke to News Channel 5. I have that here. Give me 1 second. And we're going to listen to that. Hold on. I'm going to watch that little news clip.
As community members hold several vigils to honor 5-year-old Joe Clyde Daniels. This comes one day after his father was charged with his murder and confessed to killing his son and hiding his body. Hundreds of people came together to remember Joe Clyde at a prayer service. It was a packed house at the Friendship Baptist Church just 2 miles from Daniels' home. There were at least 3 other vigils honoring Joe Clyde held in the area. Tonight, we are hearing from Joe Clyde's grandmother for the first time. She talked with News Channel 5's Matthew Torres. And Matthew, she has a message for the community.
Emily, that's right. His grandmother tells me that she is cooperating with law enforcement. Her own family had their gathering at the same house where this 5-year-old boy used to call home.
How's the family doing since learning about the news?
Well, right now we're just feeling like it's a nightmare, and we're just hoping it'll get closure soon. When we found out about it, oh, my heart just sunk because we didn't know nothing what was going on. And when they couldn't get no leads or nothing, I thought maybe somebody had abducted him.
You were hearing Belle Daniels, the grandmother of 5-year-old Joe Clyde Daniels and the stepmother of the accused killer, his father, Joseph Daniels. She agreed to the interview but requested not to be on camera. She says that she and her husband were in Texas when they found out that their grandson disappeared. Investigators say Joseph Daniels confessed to the murder despite his 911 call, saying his son, who had autism, walked out the morning of April 4th. She returned the day before her son was arrested. Appreciative of all the work from the law enforcement, churches, the media, and of course the volunteers who have helped out in this case. Now, we have learned from the Dixon County Sheriff's Office, who I just got on the phone with, that they will continue to search for the body, which remains to be a mystery at this point. Tomorrow morning, he scaled back the recovery efforts last night to give crews much needed rest. Of course, we will continue to follow the latest developments in this search. Reporting live in the newsroom, I'm Matthew Torres, News Channel 5.
Guys, I'm having some difficulties here. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but that's okay. I guess I'm going to have to do this.
Good evening, everyone. They were supposed to keep him safe. Tonight, both parents.
All right. I guess I'm going to have to do this off camera. I'll just share the thingamabob so you guys have something to look at. All right, so now right here we've got the affidavit for Joe Clyde's mom. Sorry, I'm trying to work stuff out here. I apologize for the inconvenience, guys. So Crystal Nicole Daniels, it just says here that she's charged with aggravated child neglect or endangerment, which is a felony. Now we're gonna get to what her story is. I want to show this real quick. This is the dad, Joe Daniels, and you could see this community coming together and wanting justice. This is you could see the signs here. So this definitely people want to know what happened to this little boy, and rightfully so. People are angry. Now, here's a shot of both the parents wearing bulletproof vests. Because I mean, again, folks, this is Tennessee. You know what I mean? Tennessee is a place of gun owners, and people who believe in justice no matter what. So, very much like Texas in that sense. And this kind of stuff is just not tolerated. And I can't say I disagree with that in the slightest bit. All right. So on June 4th, 2018, Joseph and Crystal Daniels made an appearance Monday morning wearing an orange jumpsuit and bulletproof vest. Joe Clyde's father reportedly admitted to beating his son to death and dumping the body in a remote area, but so far the little boy's body has not been found. His wife, Crystal, was also arrested in connection to the alleged crime. As the hearing got underway, TBI agent Joey Boyd, the lead agent in the case, took the stand. Boyd said Joseph Daniels agreed to take a polygraph but failed the test. After a 5 to 6 hour interview, Joseph Daniels reportedly admitted to beating his son to death with his fist multiple times, Boyd said. Agent Boyd also testified that during an interview with Sheriff Jeff Bledsoe, Daniels said he wanted to tell authorities where the body was, but couldn't because he doesn't want the public to know what Daniels did to Joe Clyde. In the written confession by Joseph, Boyd read that he disposed of the body using his wife's cell phone as a flashlight. Now, right there, that's a red flag for me because, if why does he have her cell phone if she's not there and involved? Sure, there's a lot of reasons as to why he would, but are you really believing that? You know what I'm saying? I'm not believing that. He doesn't have his own cell phone. They don't have a flashlight in the house. This guy doesn't have a flashlight in his Impala. Probably not, but they probably didn't think to grab one and take it with them. And they needed a flashlight right then and there. And she was right there. So I believe personally, so far from what I know, till I know more, which we'll probably discover more tonight for all we know. Again, this is very fresh to me as well, guys. I'm wondering if we're going to find more reason to believe that both of these people know where little Joe Clyde's body is. Now, this gets interesting here. Joe Clyde's father reportedly admitted to beating his son to death and dumping the body in a remote area, but so far the little boy's body has not been found. His wife, Crystal, was also arrested in connection to the alleged crime. As the hearing got underway, TBI agent wait. I already read that. I'm sorry about that, guys. I scrolled back up when I shouldn't have. Crystal Daniels agreed to take a polygraph, but also reportedly failed. During a post-polygraph interview, Boyd said she admitted her involvement. Boyd testified that Crystal said she heard a loud scream described as a painful scream, and it suddenly stopped. She walked out of the bedroom to see Joe Clyde on the floor with his father over him with a closed fist. Boyd said she then went back to sleep and lied to officials about what happened. He added that Joseph reportedly swung at his wife and threatened to kill her if she said anything. I want to read this part one more time. Boyd testified that Crystal said she heard a loud scream described as a painful scream, and it suddenly stopped. She walked out of the bedroom to see Joe Clyde on the floor with his father over him with a closed fist. Listen carefully. Boyd said she then went back to sleep. She went back to sleep and lied to officials about what happened. He added that Joseph reportedly swung at his wife and threatened to kill her if she said anything. Now, this is very, very interesting to me because there's no way that makes any sense to me. There's no way that a mother went. Now, I've been in heated arguments, heated family arguments. I think a lot of this, as a matter of fact, type of 1, if you've ever been in a heated family argument, I'd like to see that right now, where people were yelling. Let's say just a heated family argument where everyone was yelling. Type of 1. I'm seeing a shit ton of 1s. I'm seeing like 99% 1s. Now, I want you to type a 2 if directly after that you were able to go right to sleep. I'm guessing I'm going to keep seeing a lot of 1s because I'd be typing 1 right now. That's for sure. Would anyone here be able to go right to sleep? So I'm not buying, based on what I'm seeing in chat right now, I am not buying that this woman saw the father of her child standing over her 5-year-old special needs autistic child, defenseless, lying there with his fist, with his father's standing over him with his fist clenched and in anger right after hearing screaming. This woman was able to just go right to sleep if she didn't have anything to do with it? I just don't buy it, man. Makes no sense. If I'm a cop and they're telling me that story, I'm already like, I'm looking for evidence to arrest these motherfuckers. Both of them. I mean, so supposedly, according to her, Joseph swung at his wife and threatened to kill her if she said anything. Are you able to go right to sleep if your husband, after seeing him do that, he swings at you and says, don't you fucking say a word. Now he's threatening your life. And you're going to go to sleep? Hell nah, dude. Hell nah. There's no way. So stories emerge alluding to past domestic issues between the couple, including the time Joseph allegedly punched holes in the wall so he would not hit his wife instead. In the hearing, Boyd said investigators collected several pieces of evidence, including Joseph's clothing, one being a shirt he wore the day he was arrested that said Super Dad. He stated blood was found in the console of his Chevy Impala, which apparently was used to move his body. There was also blood found on his clothing, but no signs of evidence inside the house. The blood collected is awaiting results. Joseph's public defender, Jake Lockhart, argued the lack of physical evidence in the case and hammered the point that so far, prosecutors only have a confession and unidentified blood. Now, what we got here, people, what we got here is an unsung hero, y'all. What we got is a public defense attorney, a public defender, okay? A public defender with aspirations. This dude has got a future in his mind. He sees a high-profile case like this, and he is going for it. Think about that. This dude's like, dude, y'all ain't got nothing. This guy's sitting here saying, prosecutors only have a confession, like as if that matters. I mean, I don't know. That's all they had on Chris Watts, really, until he showed them where the bodies were, but yeah. So they had bodies, but the blood is still yet to be identified. So if that's all they got, okay. I mean, I could see that, but at the same time, like, this is a public defender, dude. Public defenders don't do this shit. They're not this ballsy. They're not this ballsy. So, this Jake Lockhart, he says it just doesn't make a lot of sense that he beat the child 5 to 10 minutes and that blood transferred in the car, but not in the house, Lockhart told News Channel 5. So what he's alluding here is that the confession is complete and utter bullshit, right? The wife's statement is total bullshit because, and I have to agree with him. I have to agree with him to a certain degree, because if we're talking about a beating that took place, now I'm sorry if this triggers people, but think of we got to get deep into this, guys. We gotta sack up here and just get deep into this, as much as we hate it. But let's look at it. Let's look at it logically. A man, 28 years old, beats a 5-year-old to death. Beats him for 5 to 10 minutes, allegedly. In the house. And there's no blood spatter in the house? Why is there no blood spatter in the house? You see what I'm saying? Now, I have no doubt in my mind. I believe these two both murdered this boy. I think they both had something to do with it. One of them maybe murdered him, but they both had something to do with getting rid of his body, covering it up. That's what I truly, honestly believe so far. But now, I mean, the story doesn't make sense. I have to agree with his attorney. The story doesn't make sense. Now, this gets more interesting moving forward. I'm going to get to something else here in just a bit, but let's keep going and get there. After the case was bound over, a public defender argued that Clyde Daniels' bond was not appropriate and not reasonable to be met. However, the judge ruled and denied the request that they reduce the $1 million bond to $50,000. Now, come on, man. Come on, dude. Like, you already got a bad look. You know what I'm saying? You're rolling up in court in a jumpsuit. Judge sees that shit. Jumpsuit and a bulletproof vest. You're all over the news. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you're going to stand up. Excuse me. Oh, It's coffee. You're gonna stand up there and you're gonna tell the the judge, hey, can you reduce the bond to a fraction of what you've already set it to? Could you please reduce it to a fraction? Now, again, if all this stuff is true, the prosecution really doesn't have a lot of evidence, do they? I mean, let's be honest, people. They don't have a lot of evidence here. Now, outside the courthouse, several staged a silent demonstration as Joseph and Crystal Daniels arrived. Organizers said they remained silent, unlike the last court hearing, because they wanted to represent the silence from the parents on the whereabouts of the son's remains. Dozens of law enforcement volunteers searched for the boy's body this weekend. Saturday night, canine officers thought they found something, but it ended up being a false call. Now, the parents are indicted on June 8th, 2018. They remained in the jail Friday and were read the indictments through a live video feed from court. Joseph was indicted on 5 counts. Those included homicide, child abuse, abuse causing serious bodily injury, initiating a false report, and destroying or concealing evidence to impair its availability. In the presentment, the court of homicide for Joseph read that he did unlawfully, feloniously, intentionally, and with premeditation kill Joe Clyde Daniels. A plea of not guilty was entered for Joseph. For now, court officials said this is not a death penalty case. Crystal was indicted on 4 counts, including child neglect.
The parents accused of killing their 5-year-old Joe Clyde Daniels are indicted by a grand jury.
1 second here.
The parents accused of killing their 5-year-old Joe Clyde Daniels are indicted by a grand jury. Joseph and Crystal Daniels were read their indictments through a live video feed from jail. Joseph was indicted on 5 counts, including homicide and child abuse. He pled not guilty to those charges. The question on many people's minds in this case is whether the death penalty is on the table. The public defender who is representing Joseph Daniels and Stephen Wiggins spoke to that.
They have not filed notice of death penalty yet, which is required, but they are certainly considering that and wanted to let the judge know that that's something that's on the table.
Crystal Daniels was indicted on 4 counts, including child neglect. Jake Lockhart, who you just heard from, will be filing a motion for change of venue. Just yesterday, a source close to the case confirmed Joe Clyde's blanket was found not far from the Daniels' home. The search for his body remains ongoing.
Now, something weird happens after this. So before that, on August 20th, 2018, Joseph Ray Daniels was moved from prison to professionals to determine his mental competency. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is where things get interesting. I want everybody in the chat right now to, if you could type in the chat real quick, do me a favor and type in the chat real quick. When you see this guy, what do you see when you see this guy? Give me 1 second here and let me share the screen again. Sorry about that. I want you give me an impression of what you see when you look at this man. Okay, evil. Does he look like a smart man to you? Does he look intelligent? Lufa, shut up. I'm seeing a lot of no, not smart, dumb, stupid, right? Okay, well. So, again, on August 20th, 2018, he was moved from prison for professionals to determine his mental competency. Now, in June, his IQ was tested, and he was said to have scored at a near genius level on an IQ test. I want to repeat that. In June, he was IQ tested, and he was said to have scored at a near genius level on an IQ test. Now here we are this entire time, guys. This is fresh to us, right? This is fresh to us. And already, without knowing anything of this case, and then knowing so much as we already know, right? Based on all the information that we've had, isn't it fair to say that the majority of us underestimated this man? Did we not? Luva, you stupid, stop it. We underestimated this man. We absolutely underestimated this man. Everybody in the chat just said that they thought he was stupid, right? So now I did too. I'm not trying to lie. I did too. Now, here's something really interesting, though. Here's something really interesting. This is something that I can't get out of my mind. Now, if I'm this genius, because I guess there's different levels of genius, right? Because if this test is accurate, because if I'm a genius, right? If I'm a genius and I did this shit, I know I'm suspected, right? I know I'm a suspect. Totally know I'm a suspect. And if I'm a genius, I'm sitting here and I'm questioning why law enforcement is having me take an IQ test at the beginning of all this. 2 months into it, to be exact. 2 months into already being arrested and charged, right? So I'm thinking, you know what? They're giving me an IQ test for a reason. If I'm a genius, if I'm at least a genius, they're giving me an IQ test for a reason. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score low as fuck because I want them to underestimate me. I mean, we all saw The Usual Suspects, folks. Remember Kaiser Sose? Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen that movie by now, that's your own fault. I'm giving it away. But Kevin Spacey plays this dude named whatever. What's his name? Now he plays Kaiser Sose. That's the giveaway. But he plays Verbal, right? Verbal's the dumb one. He talks too much, you know? They call him Verbal because he won't shut the fuck up, right? And Chaz Palminteri plays the detective that's interrogating him. And he keeps telling him, I'm smarter than you. I'm going to get out of you what I want. I'm going to outsmart you, and you're going to tell me everything that I need to know because you're stupid. And he even tells him, like, they took advantage of you. Your team took advantage of you because you're stupid. And yet, it turns out he's the dude that was running the whole damn thing. He's the guy that he was being asked about. I heard in another movie one time a saying says, make them think you're weak when you're strong, as a fighting technique. Make them think that you're weak when you're strong. So why wouldn't he do that? I want to explore that for a minute. Why wouldn't he do that? Why wouldn't Joseph Daniels purposely score, if he knows why he's being tested, purposely score low so that he would be underestimated? Well, folks, that brings us to that that word when it comes to true crime that we all just can never escape from. It's the most overused word in the true crime community, people. I'm sick of it myself, and I don't believe in labeling somebody this without having a mental health professional degree of some sort. But excuse me. Sounds like a narcissist to me. I mean, this guy just could not stand the idea of anyone thinking that he's dumb. That's what it sounds like to me. He cannot stand it. So on October 18th, 2018, Joseph, Joe Clyde's dad, writes a letter to Joe Clyde's grandparents, which what they thought was an anonymous letter from someone saying that he was still alive and staying with other family members. I'm going to show that letter real quick. I mean, you can't read it, but, you know, it's there. Now, so says here we have a letter. We have the letter. TBI will address it soon. This is Sheriff Jeff Bledsoe talking. We are investigating it. My thoughts are it is a staged hoax. Hopefully, the investigation will resolve the content. The TBI, meaning the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, released the following statement. As with any case we investigate, we pursue any evidence presented to us that is relevant to the case. We are working to determine the legitimacy of the letter sent to the grandparents of Joe Clyde Daniels, but at this time have no reason to believe this will change the focus of the investigation. The anonymous writer claims Joe Clyde's mother, Crystal Daniels, arranged to have the little boy away, or give the little boy away. I can't believe I misread that. Give the little boy away. I believe Crystal got Joe's clothes, packed them into a bag, and left Joe on the side of the road, reads the letter. The writer claims that he is alive and living in West Tennessee, probably Jackson. If we could get Crystal to confess what really happened with this case, I know it's bizarre. I know it's a bizarre case, the letter reads. The letter goes on to name those involved, which we have blurred out of our copies of the letter since they have not been named by police as part of the investigation. Now we know why the letter is blurred out. Joseph Ray Daniels' attorney said he admitted to writing the letter and sending it to his parents. So eventually this douchebag actually comes forward. So, I mean, how smart is this fucking guy, dude? You see what I'm saying? Is anybody as frustrated as I am? Like, how dumb is this genius? Is the right question. How fucking dumb is this near genius? Now, turns out one of my listeners, this is a quote from one of my listeners. I went to school with Joe Daniels, the accused father. He was a quiet guy, but someone could look at him wrong and he would blow up. He definitely had some anger issues. He sat at our breakfast and lunch table every day, and it was usually calm until he wasn't. He was in special ed classes, but I believe it was for behavior and not being mentally deficient. Fast forward 13 years, and I hear that his baby is missing, and he has been accused and confessed to murdering his baby. I was shocked and heartbroken, especially as I have heard more evidence. This little boy deserved to be put to rest and his voice heard for the injustices that have been done to him and so many children like him. That's from one of my listeners. So apparently one of my listeners actually knew Joe Clyde's dad, the accused, in school. There's a headline from a local paper that says, Joseph Ray Daniels, quiet, but when triggered, it wasn't pretty. According to classmates and a former Taekwondo instructor, but with violent outbursts, always just a moment away. He was quiet most of the time, but it was like an on and off switch, said Heaven Seiler, who attended school with Daniels, a 2008 graduate of Dickson County High School. He had a very short fuse. There was incidents of him getting so angry, he would get kicked out of class. Seiler said he attended middle school and high school with Daniels. They were also in band together, she said. Seiler repeated that Daniels was usually quiet, but when something or someone triggered him, it wasn't pretty. He even threw a desk, Seiler said. He would threaten to choke someone with a shoelace or say he would do it to himself. Alex Chappell, another Dickson County High classmate who had homeroom with Daniels, remembered Daniels talking to himself regularly in class. He also had a short temper and just real out there kind of guy, Chappell said. He did not connect to the planet. Dude, y'all got to see this. Oh, y'all got to see this right here. My man looks like Pennywise, bro. Like, you know what he looks like? You remember that movie Stand By Me? He looks like Ray Brower. Ray Brower. Lying on the side of the tracks when they finally find his body. Creepy, dude. Yeah, like if Howdy Doody, Danny, that's exactly right. If Howdy Doody came to life and became Chucky, you know what I'm saying? Like if if Charles Lee Ray, anybody watch Chucky? Charles Lee Ray. Charles Lee Ray is the serial killer that gets killed and his spirit goes into the Chucky doll, and then Chucky comes to life and becomes Chucky the killer, right? Like that's if Charles Lee Ray didn't have a Chucky doll and found a Howdy Doody doll, then that's what Charles Lee Ray would look like in a Howdy Doody doll as a shell. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Crazy, dude. Crazy. So this is what I got. This is only part one, guys. All right. We're going to continue this. Not even done with this yet. But that's part one. And we're going to do a whole nother part to this coming soon, very soon. And I don't know what the hell happened with my camera. It's been going out lately. And yeah, man, I have no idea. I'm sorry about that. Or actually, you're welcome. But I love you guys a lot, man. And this is, I hope that you guys right now are as intrigued with where this is going to be going as I am, because I got to tell you, this is, I mean, what's going on with this dude? Is he a fucking moron or is he a genius? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. Is he a fucking moron or is he a genius? And then the mom, yeah, this is, yeah, we got to see justice served for little Joe Clyde, man. This is a 5-year-old kid, guys. This is a 5-year-old kid, 3 months from turning 6, 3 months from his 6th birthday. 5-year-old kid with some dickless piece of shit as a father who beat the hell out of him. Fucking dickless, evil, howdy doody looking piece of shit. Dude. How the fuck, dude? Dude, even at 5 years old, dude, like, I'm rolling up on St. Peter and I'm going to be like, I want to talk to the man right now. If I'm 5 years old and I get killed by that guy, I'm going up to St. Peter. I'm going, I want to talk to the man right now. And I'm like, how the fuck are you going to get? How am I going out getting killed by evil howdy doody? By a guy like that? This kid got robbed, man. He gets brought into this world by these pieces of shit, treated like shit while he's here, and then taken out. Can't let people like this walk around. They got to get locked up. They got to get locked up. Jenna Flora. Yeah, that would be interesting, man. Maybe Mexi can come out here, man, and we'll explore it, man. Maybe he'd be down to make the trip. This is yeah, bite me. Good point. Good point. Yet another case where CPS fails a child. Yet another case. It wasn't like they went under that they were under their radar. It wasn't like this family was under their radar. This is another case where this boy had caseworkers assigned to him who failed him. How many more times are we going to have to hear about this, people, before something's done? How many times? How many times, man? For we are sick and tired of it, and we actually do something about it. I mean, what's it going to take? How do we go about that anyway? let's just say that we do get to a point where we're like, what are some ideas, people? What are some ideas to get the right attention on child services to make sure that they're doing their job and these things don't happen? Short of robbing a family of their basic privacy rights, because I'm not with that shit either. Because we all know we already got assholes in this community that actually do that they misuse child services to try to hurt someone just because they don't like what they have to say. Law enforcement is misused because people swat people. Law enforcement is misused because people call welfare checks, wellness checks for content. They record it and release it. Is that not contributing to the problem, people? How is that not contributing to the problem? How is misuse of the government agencies designed to protect our children, how is that not contributing to the problem that these organizations are not doing their job and taking their job as seriously as possible? How many false alarms are they going to have? And we're supposed to believe that people who misuse child services like this and law enforcement, we're supposed to believe that this doesn't contribute to the problem that these agencies are not doing 100% to protect our children? You need to wake up, people. You need to wake up. You got to demand better. Demand better from your community. You have to. If you want change, if you don't want change, don't do shit. Don't say shit. Fuck it, right? But you can't sit here and act all angry about something and just sit back and let that shit happen without speaking up. Margie Cox Drake, I agree with you. The system is broken. But how much of our community has contributed to the system being broken through irresponsible, flagrant misuse of it for malicious purposes, misuse for the purposes to harass. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying. You got to demand better from your community. Don't just do better yourself. Demand better. Having a YouTube channel, in my opinion, is a responsibility, man. There's a responsibility that comes with it. Guys, I'm going to call it part 2. Joe Clyde Daniels is coming soon. And we are going to continue following this case. We are going to continue to explore this case together. We're going to explore the trial together as it happens. But I love you guys very much. And we will do this again very soon, my friends.